For today's video, mag-focus tayo sa physics for leaders or physics calculus base. So, bago tayo mag-start, so gusto ko muna sabihin sa inyo yung calculator na kailangan natin sa subject na to or sa mga higher subjects niya pa. So, kailangan natin ng ganitong calculator. So, ito po yung nire-require yung calculator. So, 991 ES Plus. So, para sa kalaman nyo, meron na rin ganitong version na wala yung solar panel. Yun yung ginagamit namin sa board exam. So, ganito po siya. So, itong version na to is pinabawal siya ng PRC, binan siya ng PRC. So, ito yung pinalit. So, same lang sila ng functions. So, nawala lang yung kanya solar panel. So, pero sa huling update, parang out of stock na to yung ganitong version. So, lumabas sila ng bagong version. Same lang rin sila ng functions, pero wala ng itsura. So, ito yung version 2. So, wala rin yata wala rin yung solar panel. So, yan. Ganito calculator po. Either sa dalawa yung gagamitin natin sa subject na to. So, sa mga iba niyong proc, nire-require din to. So, dapat meron kayong ganitong calculator. Okay? So, proceed tayo. This is for engineers. So, dito mala sa mga terms. Ano ba yung mga terms? So, distance. It's a scalar quantity that refers to how much length an object has covered during its motion. That is distance, scalar quantity. And displacement. So, ano naman yung displacement? So, vector quantity refers to how far out of place an object it is, object's overall change in position. So, change in position. Change in position po siya. So, magkaiba si distance. Si distance is scalar quantity. Si displacement is vector quantity. So, si distance is gaano kahaba yung na-cover mo during its motion. Si displacement naman is yung change in position. Okay? Then next, speed. Speed is scalar quantity that refers to how fast an object is moving. Speed can be thought of as the rate at which an object covers distance. So yan. Ano na yung speed? Scalar quantity siya. Ang ibig sabihin, pag pinapag-usapan is distance, so speed pertaining to speed. Displacement, was si velocity. Velocity is a vector quantity that refers the rate at which an object changes its position. And acceleration is a vector quantity that is defined as the rate at which an object changes its velocity. So, malinaw po yung pinag-iba. Distance, displacement, speed, velocity, and acceleration. And translational motion. When we say translational motion, it's the motion by which a body shifts from one point in space to another. So, pag translate from one point to another, that's translational motion. So, translational motion, we have three motions. First is rectilinear motion. From the word rectilinear. Rectilinear motion is position, velocity, and acceleration of a particle as it moves along a straight line. In straight line, yun yung rectilinear motion natin. Curvilinear motion, from the word curvilinear motion is a motion that refers when a particle travels along a curved path. The curved path can be 2 dimensions or in a plane or in 3 dimensions. And last is the projectile motion. Projectile motion is a form of motion in which object or particle called a projectile is thrown near the surface of the earth and moves along a curved path under the action of gravity. So, yan po yung tatlong translational motions natin. Translational motion formulas. This is the formulas. Sa rectilinear motion, meron tayong iba't ibang cases. First is uniform motion or the velocity is constant. This is the formula. Basic formula is distance is equals to velocity times time. Next case is uniform acceleration. Pag uniform acceleration, ibig sabihin meron ng velocity. Ay, nagbabago yung velocity natin. So, ibig sabihin, velocity is variable. Nagpo-varies yung ating velocity. So, acceleration is constant. Formula natin, distance equals to initial velocity times time plus 1 half acceleration times time squared. Yan yung formula 1 natin. So, mayroon pa tayong formula. So, final velocity squared is equals to initial velocity squared plus 2 acceleration times distance. And last is final velocity is equals to initial velocity plus acceleration times time. So, we have 3 equations. We have 3 formulas kapag uniform acceleration. Variable acceleration, pag sinabing variable acceleration, yung acceleration natin is nagbabago. At a certain time. So, ito yung formula natin. Pwede natin tayo gumamit ng acceleration time diagram or yung graphical solutions. So, o kaya derivative. So, ang derivative po ng distance is this derivative ng distance is the velocity and derivative ng velocity is the acceleration. So, lahat naman kayo marunong compute ng derivative. So, yan. So, graphical solution using acceleration time diagram. So, meron tayong delta V, which means a change in area of the AT diagram. So, makikita nyo sa diagram, may diagram tayo, then, compute natin yung area ng ating AT acceleration time diagram. Then, delta S is initial velocity times time plus change in area of the AT diagram. Delta S, ito rin yung change in area of the velocity time diagram. Sample problems. Problem 1. A man runs at rate of 20 km per hour and accelerate at a rate of 5 meter per second squared. Determine the total distance traveled after 5 seconds. So, napakadali ng problem natin. So, meron daw tayong man. Tumatakbo siya at a rate of 20 km per hour. So, meron siyang acceleration, 5 meter per second squared. Time, 5 seconds. So, velocity natin is 20 km per hour. So, ang tinahanap is total distance traveled. So, mapapansin nyo sa ating given, yung ating velocity is na km per hour. Ating time seconds, yung acceleration is meter per second squared. So, kailangan uniform yung ating unit. So, convert mo natin si 20 km per hour into meter per second. So, kung distance yung tinatanong, and anong case to? So, nagbabago yung kanyang motion, yung kanyang velocity. So, acceleration is constant. So, sa tatlong formula, pwede tayong pumili dyan. So, bahala na kayo kung anong bibiliin dyan. So, since ang hinanap is distance, pwede natin gamitin itong formula 1. Is equal sa VOT plus 1 half AT squared. Kasi, given na yung ating initial velocity, meron tayong time, meron tayong acceleration, meron tayong time. So, wala tayong problema sa formula 1. Sa formula 2, pwede rin naman to. Pero kailangan nyo munang kumputin si final velocity kasi hindi yun given. Kung kumputin pa natin yung sa matrabaho pa, pipili tayo ng mas shortcut na solution. So, ito na ang ating formula. Is VOT plus 1 half AT squared. So, sabi ko kanina, kailangan uniform yung ating unit. So, convert mo natin si 20 km per hour. So, kailangan natin makancel si kilometer at si hour. Si 1 kilometer is 1,000 meter and 1 hour is 60 seconds. 1 hour is 60 minutes and 1 minute is 60 seconds. Maka-cancel si kilometer. Cancel si hour. Cancel si minutes. Matitira is meter per second. So, answer is 5.56 meter per second. Yun yung ating rate. Rate ng ating runner. So, nasa formula, direct substitution lang, 5.56 times 5 plus 1 half times 5 times 5 squared. So, answer will be 90.3 meters. Okay? Problem 2. An automobile starting from rest, speed up to 40 meter per second with a constant acceleration of 4 meter per second squared, runs at this speed for a long time, and finally comes to rest with a deceleration of 5 meter per second squared. If the total distance traveled is 1,000 meter, determine the following. Find the distance covered during acceleration. Find the distance traveled at a constant speed. and find the total time of travel. So, 3 questions. Solution. So, kailangan mo natin drawing yung ating problem. So, meron tayong automobile. So, from rest, tumakbo siya ng 40 meter per second, and from rest, nag-accelerate pala siya ng 4 meter per second squared. So, ibig sabihin, magkakaroon tayo ng 3 spans. In this span 1, nag-accelerate siya ng 4 meter per second squared. Then sa span 2, uniform yung kanyang motion or uniform yung kanyang speed, velocity na 40 meter per second. And span 3, nag-decelerate naman siya hanggang sa nag-stop siya dito sa point na to. 4 meter per second squared. So, meron tayong sinabi sa problem, the total distance traveled is 1,000 meter. So, yan, 1,000 meter from the starting point to final point. Ang kanyang distance is 1,000 meters. So, from the figure, makakabuo tayo ng isang equation. S1. Yun. Since ito is initial distance is, since ang start siya sa rest, so initial velocity niya is 0. Then, yung kanyang final velocity, stop siya. So, final velocity is 0. 0 to, ito rin 0. So, from the equation, from the figure, the span 1 plus span 2 plus span 3 is 1,000 meters. Okay na tayo dito ha. Malaga to. Itong dalawa na to. So, sa part 1, so, ang hinahanap sa problem 1 is the total distance traveled during acceleration. So, since ang case natin is uniform acceleration, pwede tayong gumamit sa tatlong formula, pipili na tayo doon. So, ang pili natin is formula 2. Final velocity squared is equals to initial velocity squared plus 2AS. Yung S is yung span 1. So, final velocity, ano bang velocity sa point na to? Diba is 40. The initial is 0. Diba? So, input lang. So, 40 squared is equals to 0 squared plus 2 times 4 is yung acceleration times S. So, distance 1 or distance during acceleration is 200 meters. Problem 2. Sa problem 2, hinahanap is during at a uniform motion daw, ano daw yung uniform motion, ano daw yung endo kahaba, yung na-travel niya. So, medyo matrabaho yun, yung pag nag-direct tayo sa S1, 2. So, pwede natin gamitin itong equation na to. S1 plus S2 plus S3 is equals to 1,000. Meron na tayong S1, kailangan natin kumpitin si S3. So, pag nakumpit natin si S3, malalaman natin si S2. Okay? So, gamitin din natin yung formula 2. Final velocity squared is equals to initial velocity squared plus 2AS. Baka kayo malito ha, bakit itong ginagamit natin? So, sabi ko nga, yung tatlong formula na yon is pwede yun lahat. Yung tatlo is pwede silang gamitin. Formula 1, Formula 2, and Formula 3. So, pipili lang tayo ng mas shortcut. Mas mabilis na formula, na solution. Kasi kung pipili natin sa Formula 1, so kailangan pa natin kumpitin yung time. Tama? Kung Formula 2 naman pipilitin na, kung Formula 3 naman yung ating gagamitin, kailangan natin kumpitin yung time. Okay? So, pipiliin natin yung mas madaling formula. So, ano kayo yung kanyang final velocity is 0. Kasi nag-stop yung ating automobile. So, kanyang velocity dito is 40. So, 0 squared is equal to 40 squared plus 2. So, bakit negative? Kasi deceleration. Iba yung acceleration sa deceleration. So, alam niyo na yun. So, calculating, S3 is 160 meters. Pero hindi nyo tinatanong. Ang tinatanong is yung S2. So, using this equation, S1 is 200, S2 unknown, plus S3, 160. So, yan. 200 plus S2 plus 160 plus 1,000. S2 will be 640 meters. Next question is the total time of travel. Kailangan natin kupitin yung time na tumakbo dito. Time 1, time 2, time 3, then pag-plus-plus lang natin. Sa part 1, pwede natin gamitin yung formula 1, pwede rin yung formula 2. Or formula 3 pala, kasi yung formula 2 wala namang terms na T. So, formula 1 and 3 lang ang pwede. So, kayo na yung bahala. So, ako, ginamit ko yung formula 1. So, direct substitution, cancel ito kasi ito is 0 na. 200 is equals to 1 half times acceleration, t squared. So, time 1 natin is 10 seconds. From initial point to point 1, so, takbo niya is 10 seconds. Tinakbo niya ng 10 seconds. Sa path 2, pwede natin itong gamitin since meron na tayong S2 na 640, direct substitution. So, 0 yung ating acceleration kasi uniform acceleration, uniform motion dito. Velocity is constant. So, cancel yan. Velocity time, 16 seconds. Then, path 3, initial velocity times time plus 1 half 80 squared. So, ganoon din, mayroon tayong 160. Mag-40 ang ating initial velocity times time minus 1 half negative kasi deceleration. Time will be 8 seconds. So, para makumpit natin yung total time, so time 1 times plus time 2 plus time 3 is equals to 34 seconds. Yun yung total time of travel. Okay na? So, yan. Okay na tayo sa rectilinear motion. Punta tayo sa curvilinear motion. So, curvilinear motion, meron tayong tangential acceleration and normal acceleration. So, tangential acceleration is velocity squared over r formula. In normal acceleration, yung usual acceleration galing sa rectilinear motion. Para makumpit yung total acceleration, using Pythagorean theorem, square root ng 80 tangential acceleration squared plus normal acceleration squared. Try tayo na sa problem. So, a man runs around a circular track of 800 meter radius for 30 seconds. So, starting at a point directly to the right of the center, goes counterclockwise manner. He goes 5 meter per second for the first 15 seconds, runs 90 meter for the next 6 seconds, and 180 meter for the rest of the course. Determine the following. Number 1, average speed. Number 2, displacement from starting point. Ayan na may displacement na. So, alam nyo yung displacement ha. Number 3, average velocity. And last, total displacement upon return to the starting point. Pakibasa na may game problem ha. So, meron tayong circular track. May radius na 800 meters. So, circular track, may radius yan na 800 meters. Dito yung runner. Ang runner daw is nag-move counterclockwise. Paganto yung kanyang takbo. Simula dito, pupunta dito. So, ito yun. From starting point to point 1, tumakbo daw siya ng 5 meter per second. 5 meter per second, parang medyo mabilis. Sa loob na 15 seconds. Sa 1 to 2, span 2, tinakbo niya ng 6 seconds. Distance nun is 90 meters. Span 3, distance 3 naman dito, tinakbo niya ito ng is 180 meters yung kanyang tinakbo. Hindi binigay yung kanyang rate. So, para makumpit natin yung distance 1, so meron tayong distance 2, meron tayong distance 3, kailangan natin kumpitin yung distance 1. Mula dito hanggang dito. Okay? So, formula natin is yung kanyang initial velocity. Yung kanyang velocity times time since yung uniform motion siya, ng velocity is constant. So, velocity times time lang yan. Velocity is 5 times time, 5 to 50 seconds, so you get 75 meters. 75 meters to, galing dito is 90 meters plus 80 meters. So, alam natin, from starting point hanggang doon sa last point, final point niya is malaman natin total distance na 75 plus 90 plus 180. Yan yung 345. So, distance is equals to average speed times time kasi para silang scalar quantity. Distance and speed. So, total distance is 345. So, total distance is yung length ng curve. Tama? Length ng curve. Tama ba? Average velocity times yung total time given yan. So, 345 divided by 30, that will be average speed is equal to 11.5 meter per second. Next is the average velocity. So, kung average velocity yung hinahanap, so kailangan natin ng displacement. So, distance 3 is 80 meters. So, ito is 800 meters yung kanyang radius. So, ito hindi natin alam yung internal angle. And then, This is the change in position, that is displacement. Diba? Kanina, total distance traveled is the arc. Ngayon, is straight line is the displacement. Starting point. So, makakabuo tayo ng isang triangle. So, isosceles triangle. Is equal yung dalawang legs niya. So, ano kaya pwede natin gamitin para makompute natin yung angle na to? Since alam natin yung length ng arc, so pwede natin kumpitin yung angle na yun. Gamit yung length upon arc, S equals to R theta, which is yung theta is naka-radian. Yung S, yun yung length ng arc. Nakumpit natin, di ba? From starting point to final point is 345 meters. Yung radius is 800. 345 divided by the 800, that will be 0.43125 radians. So, kailangan natin convert yung radians into degrees. So, recall lang natin yung sa trigonometry. One revolution is 360 degrees. And 1 revolution is equals to 2 pi rad. Tama? So, para makancel yung rad, so 0.43125 times 360 divided by 2 pi. So, answer is 24.71 degrees. So, alam natin yung value nito, 24.71 degrees. Meron tayong triangle with known two sides and internal angle. So, ano kaya pwede natin gamitin dyan? So, kung natatandaan nyo po yung cosine law, so we have oblique triangle with unknown side ABC and unknown side ABC and angle ABC. So, cosine law, so ito po yung cosine law, recall nyo lang po sa trigonometry. So, meron tayong video niyan. Sa description lang, nasa description yung link para mapanood nyo yung video niyan. Trigonometric identities. So, balik tayo sa problem. So, meron tayong pwedeng gamitin formula which is yung cosine law nga. So, pwede pa naman yung sine law, o kaso nga lang, medyo matrabaho pa. Hatiin nyo pa to. So, dito tayo sa mas madaling formula. So, dito sa case natin, yung red line is the displacement. Siya yung ating A and B, C. So, displacement squared is equals to 800 squared plus 800 squared minus 2 BC, 800 times 800 cosine, yung angle na 24.71. Displacement squared is equals to 640,000 plus 640,000 minus 1.28 million. Cosine 24.71. Calculating, displacement will be 342.35 meters. So, yan po yung ating displacement. Kung kumpitin natin yung kanyang average velocity, displacement, 342 is equals to average velocity times time, total times 30. So, average velocity will be 11.41 meter per second. So, kung mapapansin nyo, mas mababa yung average velocity doon sa average speed. Bakit? Kasi napakahaba ng ating distance. Then, yung samantalang yung ating velocity is maikli lang. Change in position. Gaano kahaba yung from initial position to final position, yung ating displacement. Then, last question. Determine the total displacement upon returning to the starting point. Kung yung runner daw bumalik doon sa starting point niya, sinatapos niya yung track, bumalik siya dito sa starting point niya, ano kaya magiging displacement? So, since alam natin yung displacement is change in position, so, nag-change pa siya ng position, bumalik lang siya sa initial position niya, so, ang kanyang displacement is 0. Sana naintindihan? Let's proceed to the problem 4. The position of the particle which moves along a straight line is defined by the relation x is equals to t cubed minus 6t squared minus 15t plus 4t, where x is expressed in feet. Ibig sabihin yung x is yung distance and t is in seconds. Yung t is yung ating time. Determine the time at which the velocity will be 0 and the position and distance traveled by the particle at that time. The acceleration of the particle at that time. So, kailangan na natin, since yung particle natin, binigyan niya yung kanyang equation. So, sabi nga kanina, yung distance, pag dinerivative yung distance, makukuha natin yung velocity equation. Pag dinerivative natin yung velocity, makukuha natin yung acceleration equation. So, yun yung part. Kaya po yung solution kapag binigyan tayo ng isang equations ng distance. So, kunin lang natin yung derivative nito, makukuha natin yung velocity equation. So, ang derivative ng t cube is 3t squared minus 6t squared is magiging 12t minus 15. I-recall nyo lang po yung sa differential calculus. Simple derivative lang yan. So, derivative naman po nito is yung kanyang acceleration equation. So, 3t squared magiging 6t, 12t is magiging 12. So, malinaw tayo dito. Kinukuha nyo lang po yung kanyang derivative. So, sa number 1, which is determine the time at which the velocity will be 0. So, kung velocity is 0, equate mo lang po ito sa 0. Yung velocity, makakompute natin yung time. So, time is 5 seconds. So, since ito ay naka-quadratic equation, lalabas po sa calculator is 2 values. Siyempre, pipiliin po natin yung positive value, which is 5 seconds. Okay? Next. Determine the position and distance traveled with the particle at that time. So, ang tinutukoy niyang time is yung 5 seconds. Ano to yung gaano kataba yung na-travel ng ating particle. So, gamitin lang natin yung equation ng distance is S equals to T cubed minus 6T squared minus 15T plus 40. So, derivative niya, ito, and derivative nito is ito. Gamitin natin yung equation 1. Substitute lang yung 5 seconds. 5t cubed minus 6 times 5 squared minus 15 times 5 plus 40. Calculating, it will be negative 60 feet. Bakit may negative? So, imagine niyo meron kayong quadratic, meron tayong Cartesian plane. So, negative, papunta siya. Ibig sabihin, yung ating particle is papunta sa kaliwa. Kung positive, papunta sa kanan. So, yun po ibig sabihin ng negative sign. Okay? Then, acceleration at that time. So, gamitin na natin yung acceleration equation. So, substitute yung time, 5 seconds. 60 times 5 is 30 minus 12. That will be 18. Acceleration at that time is 18 feet per second squared. Okay? Yan yung pagganyan kapag variable acceleration. Last problem. Ito na ginagamitan ng acceleration time diagram. The motion of a particle starting from initial velocity of 5 feet per second is governed by the acceleration time diagram shown. This is the questions. Determine the velocity at time 5 seconds. Determine the displacement at time 6 seconds. Ito po yung ating acceleration time diagram. So, yung pataas, it represents acceleration. Yung pakanan, represents second, time. Time in seconds. So, ito yung ating acceleration time diagram. So, at 8 sa 6 seconds, nag-accelerate siya ng 8 feet per second squared. Then, pataas lang pataas, mabilis na mabilis. Yung 12 seconds pala, 12 feet per second squared pala yung acceleration niya at 6 seconds. Then, nag-decelerate. After 9 seconds, yung kanyang acceleration na lang is nasa 8 feet per second squared. So, paano ba ang atake kapag may ganyan? Diagram. So, sabi nga doon sa ating formula, yung delta V, yun yung area lang nito. Area ng ating diagram. Depende sa tanong. Since 6 seconds lang, so hanggang dito lang tayo sa 6 seconds. So, yan. Kung 6 seconds lang tinatanong, so meron tayong triangle. So, yung area lang po ng shaded portion yung kailangan natin. So, delta V, ano kasi delta V, yun yung change in area of the AD diagram. Area. So, ito yung formula. Final velocity is equals to initial velocity plus the area of the shaded portion. So, initial velocity given 5 plus area ng triangle. Since alam natin ng area ng triangle is 1/2 base times height. Base niya is 6 feet. 6 seconds. Yung kanyang height is 12 feet per second squared. So, calculating, that will be 41 feet per second. Okay ba? So, area lang po ang kailangan natin. Dito sa next question, may bago. Yung delta S, change in area of the velocity time diagrams. Kung velocity time diagram, so kailangan natin ng moment arm. So, area, S equals to initial velocity times time, given naman yung time, na 6 seconds, plus delta S. Yung delta S is change in velocity time diagram. Kung kanina area lang, ngayon, kailangan natin i-times doon sa centroid niya. Ano ba ang centroid ng triangle? Diba? Is 1/3 and 2/3 and 1/3. Ito lang yan. Initial velocity is 5 times time 6 seconds plus 1/2. Area lang ito. Area ng shaded portion plus ito yung nadagdag. Since nandito yung centroid ng triangle, so ang centroid niya is 1/3 from the highest side. is 106. Calculating, that will be 30 plus 72 is 102 feet. So, kung may tinanong is hanggang 9 seconds, so kailangan nyo kasama itong portion na to. Itong portion na to, kailangan nyo kumpitin yung area, then ganun din yung sa inyong area plus time center. Okay? That's it. So, kung may questions kayo, pwede nyo ako i-message sa messenger. Ito pa yung aking account. Then, ito yung aking email address, phone number, credit sa Matalino YouTube channel, and sa Review Innovation sa pinanggalingan ng aking mga sample problems. So, sana mag-enjoy kayo sa video. Video natin ngayon. So, next video, we'll focus on projectile motion. So, thank you sa pakikinig. Sana natapos niyo yung video.